These UFC fighters were so brutal, so controversial, or so dominant that they forced the UFC to rewrite its rulebook. Let's break it down. The Wild West era, no rules. In the early days of the UFC, fighters faced little to no regulation. It was a true Wild West of combat sports. Gerard Gordeau, who competed in UFC 1, epitomized this brutal era. Known for his aggressive style, he exploited the absence of rules with eye gouges and groin strikes. His actions set a disturbing precedent, highlighting the urgent need for regulations. Keith Hackney, during UFC 4, faced Joe Sun. Hackney landed a series of legal groin strikes that shocked everyone. This incident proved one thing: the UFC needed rules, fast. The result? The establishment of the low blow rule. Fighters now had a 5-minute recovery period if struck below the belt. Hackney's fight underscored the need for safety protocols in the sport. Royce Gracie, too dominant. Royce Gracie entered the UFC and quickly became a household name due to his unparalleled Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills. His dominance was so overwhelming that it prompted significant changes in the structure of the sport. Gracie's success led to the introduction of time limits for fights, which prevented endless bouts that could leave fighters exhausted and at risk. Additionally, the establishment of weight classes ensured fairer matchups, allowing fighters of similar sizes to compete against one another. Moreover, the introduction of rounds and judges transformed the scoring system, providing a more structured approach to determining the winner of a fight. As many have said, Royce didn't break the rules. He exposed the lack of them. His impact forced the UFC to adapt to a new reality where fighters needed to be more well-rounded, leading to a more competitive and exciting sport. Mark Coleman and Headbutts. Mark Coleman, known as the Godfather of Ground and Pound, was a pioneer in utilizing headbutts from top control to dominate his opponent. His effective use of this tactic showcased the brutality that could occur in grappling exchanges. However, this strategy quickly drew criticism for its potential danger, prompting the UFC to ban headbutts shortly after Coleman popularized them. This change was crucial in ensuring the safety of fighters during ground exchanges, paving the way for more regulated grappling techniques. Jon Jones, illegal elbows. In one of the most controversial moments in UFC history, Jon Jones delivered a 12-6 elbow strike against Matt Hamill. This illegal move resulted in a disqualification that left fans and fighters alike in shock. The 12-6 elbow is often misunderstood. Many argue that its prohibition is not entirely justified, given its potential for inflicting damage. Jones's situation highlighted the complexities of the rules, leading to ongoing discussions about the legality of certain strikes in the sport. This incident not only affected Jones's legacy, but also fueled debates about how the rules should evolve to keep pace with the sport's development. Paul Daley, banned for life. In a moment that forever changed the UFC's approach to fighter conduct, Paul Daley threw a sucker punch at Josh Koscheck after the final bell. This reckless act led to Daley being banned for life from the UFC, a decision that sent shockwaves through the MMA community. While it may not represent a new rule, it served as a clear reinforcement of the existing regulations regarding fighter behavior and sportsmanship. The UFC's stance was firm. They would not tolerate actions that jeopardize the integrity of the sport. This incident underscored the importance of maintaining professionalism in the octagon. Vaseline Scandal, UFC 94. The infamous Vaseline Scandal during the bout between GSP and BJ Penn brought significant attention to the role of cornermen in fights. During UFC 94, GSP's corner applied Vaseline to his shoulders, leading to accusations of unfair advantage. This controversy resulted in stricter rules for cornermen regarding what can be applied to a fighter's body. The scandal highlighted the need for fair play and ensured that all fighters compete on equal footing, reinforcing the integrity of the competition. Unified Rules Era, the cleanup. As the UFC evolved, multiple fighters influenced the adoption of the unified rules of MMA, which cleaned up the sport and introduced crucial standards. These rules included the implementation of gloves to reduce the risk of injury and ensure fighter safety during bouts. The introduction of the 10-point must system standardized scoring for judges, making it easier for fans and fighters to understand how fights were evaluated. Additionally, prohibitions on small joint manipulation and fish hooking were established to protect fighters during grappling exchanges. These changes helped legitimize MMA as a sport and made it more accessible to a wider audience, establishing a foundation for the UFC's future growth. Modern changes: gloves, eye pokes, fence grabs. In recent years, the sport has continued to evolve, with fighters like Bilal Muhammad, Leon Edwards, and the infamous eye poke incident during DC vs. Stipe leading to further rule changes. The 2024 glove redesign addresses ongoing issues with eye pokes, which have become a growing concern in the sport. Eye pokes can cause serious injuries, and their frequency has led to calls for reevaluation of the gloves used in competition. The new design aims to minimize the risk of accidental pokes while ensuring fighters can still protect their hands effectively. Moreover, fence grabs now result in point deductions, yet the enforcement of these rules can often be inconsistent, leading to confusion among fighters and fans alike. While the intention behind these rules is clear, the way they are applied during fights can vary significantly depending on the referee's discretion. This inconsistency has sparked discussions about the need for clearer guidelines and training for officials, ensuring that all fighters are held to the same standards. As the sport continues to grow, maintaining clarity in enforcement will be crucial for its integrity. Additionally, combat sports have become increasingly scrutinized regarding fighter health and safety. Travis Fulton, known for his excessive fight volume with over 300 MMA bouts, became a focal point in discussions about fighter health tracking and record regulation. His career, along with a criminal case that surfaced later, highlighted the need for better monitoring of fighter health and the establishment of minimum safety checks before allowing them to compete. This led to important conversations about fighter licensing standards and the overall responsibility of promotions in safeguarding their athletes. Bonus: fighters who exploited loopholes. In a sport where every advantage counts, some fighters have found ways to exploit loopholes. Khabib Nurmagomedov's cage control tactics allowed him to dominate opponents while minimizing damage. His ability to use the cage to his advantage showcased a strategic understanding of the rules that many fighters lack. Similarly, Aljamain Sterling's knee DQ win against Peter Yan sparked debates about the rules and their interpretation. Sterling's victory raised questions about the legality of his actions and whether the rules adequately protect fighters. Joe Sun, who fought Keith Hackney, later became a controversial figure due to his criminal background. His inclusion in the UFC prompted tighter background checks for fighters entering major promotions, making it clear that the sport needed to uphold a higher standard for athlete integrity. This shift aimed to protect the reputation of the sport and ensure that all competitors are held to ethical standards. Renzo Gracie faced Frank Shamrock in Pride FC, where Shamrock's stomps while Gracie was grounded led to significant changes. This incident influenced U.S. state commissions to ban soccer kicks and stomps when the unified rules were debated, showcasing how international events could impact domestic regulations. Gilbert Evil, banned from Nevada and other U.S. commissions for repeated fouls such as punching a referee, eye gouges, and biting opponents, pushed for stricter enforcement of bans and lifetime suspensions in UFC-adjacent organizations. His offenses underscored the necessity of maintaining fighter discipline and ensuring that such behaviors were not tolerated. Anderson Silva faced criticism for his repeated passive performances against fighters like Thales Lates and Demian Maia. His taunting and refusal to engage prompted Dana White to openly criticize him, leading to the UFC's implementation of aggressiveness criteria for judging. This change aimed to ensure that fighters remain active and engaging during bouts, promoting a more exciting viewing experience. Tim Sylvia's fight against Frank Mir is another notable incident that highlighted the need for better ringside medical intervention. Sylvia fought with a broken arm, which the referee did not see until late in the fight. This incident drew attention to the need for improved training for referees and ringside medical staff, ensuring they can spot injuries and intervene appropriately to protect fighters. Anthony Johnson faced repeated weight-cutting issues, missing weight across multiple divisions. His extreme cuts contributed to discussions about weight class restructuring and early hydration testing, which were later adopted by ONE FC and considered by other organizations. The UFC also briefly implemented early weigh-ins in 2016, reflecting a growing awareness of the health risks associated with drastic weight cuts. Vitor Belfort, during the testosterone replacement therapy TRT era, became a polarizing figure. His resurgence while on TRT led to widespread backlash and concerns about the fairness of competition. In response to the growing controversy, USADA and the UFC banned TRT exemptions in 2014, aiming to level the playing field and prioritize the health of all athletes. Lastly, Yoel Romero faced scrutiny during the Stoolgate incident against Tim Kennedy, where he remained seated on his stool past the round break. This incident led to stricter enforcement of corner timing rules and increased scrutiny over referee control between rounds, reinforcing the importance of maintaining the pace and integrity of the competition. Before we finish, here are some honorable mentions. Nick Diaz faced multiple marijuana suspensions, which pressured commissions to reconsider cannabis as a banned substance. His case opened the door for discussions about the evolving perceptions of marijuana in sports. James Toney's crossover flop from boxing to MMA sparked calls for minimum grappling and MMA experience before allowing high-level bouts, highlighting the need for regulations that protect both fighters and the sport's integrity. The controversial in-fight corner decisions involving BJ Penn and Matt Hughes led to stricter neutral corner rules between rounds, ensuring clearer communication policies for cornermen and addressing the complexities of fighter management during bouts. From eye gouges to glove redesigns, these fighters changed how the UFC operates. Which one shocked you the most? Drop a comment, like the video, and subscribe for more UFC and MMA breakdowns.